Hi guys, and welcome back to another DrAce video, and today we're going to be playing MXGP 2021. We're here in the legacy track of Leon for our very first career challenge video. So starting off with the career challenge video, we have actually attained this by winning 2 Grand Prix this season in MXGP 2021 career mode. Now also, this is a bit of a different one because you're not on the bike you're using for the actual career mode. You're given a Kawasaki KX250 and it is your job to win on board this motorcycle. And I've got to say, it's a pretty solid bike. I do like it. I'm not using it in career mode, I'm actually using the KTM, so therefore it is a little bit different for me. And because this is a challenge which is available to everyone once you've won so many Grand Prix, this one only required 2 wins and you get an opportunity to race here in Leon. Now, something to mention as well though, the AI is set at medium difficulty, which I found odd because I assumed the challenge would be either anything you really wanted to, or maybe the difficulty would be higher than what you're using in career mode. So I did find that a little bit odd, but if you are a newcomer to MXGP, maybe this is your first one, I guess the career mode challenge being at a medium difficulty is a little bit better than being at realistic if you're not playing at that skill level. Now, I wasn't expecting the challenge to be with a bog standard bike. I expected you to use your own bike, or at least an upgraded one, but I do believe this is just solid standard settings, standard bike with no upgrades whatsoever, and I guess that's where the challenge will come from. And I'm guessing maybe towards the end of the challenge videos it's going to be a case of you're having to sort of tackle realistic riders, a realistic difficulty setting with a bog standard motorcycle that hasn't had any upgrades. But depending on the track, it could be really difficult or it still might be not so bad. But here in Leon, not a track I'm overly familiar with. It's a good solid track. I do prefer more undulation, a lot of higher jumps and a lot of tighter corners, but it's still a very decent track, and I can honestly say I don't recall the last time I've raced here in Leon in an MXGP game. It must have been quite a while now. If you know the answer to that question, certainly let me know and put me out of my misery, but I actually can't think on the top of my head. I really can't think. But we are leading this one with 3 minutes and 2 laps remaining. It is only one race as well, guys, so you don't have to do the double race, you don't have to fight for a full Grand Prix weekend. It's literally just the one race here in Leon on this bog standard Kawasaki. Now, of course, bog standard meaning it's not had any upgrades if you weren't quite aware of that term. But we now go into the right hand side, going for that tighter line this time rather than going over that little bit of a jump, as we now go into a difficult section, and we are actually losing a little bit of time to Tom Vial behind us. He's of course on the good solid motorcycle, the KTM 250, which he's certainly going to be charging me down, because of course in the MX2 class it's a 250cc motorbike, as we get a big jump there, not big enough to really make that perfectly, but we still had a rather nice leap as we make a big jump now, once again getting the landing correct. And of course, as you can probably see, and you've probably noticed already, and if you haven't noticed, you've probably not been watching, but this is a third person perspective as well. You'll usually know that I always do first person perspective when playing MXGP, but I know quite a lot of you guys kind of prefer the third person, so I thought, why not change it up? I'll go for the career mode challenges with the third person perspective and then stick to the career mode videos themselves as first person. Or regardless, maybe I'll just change things as I go, whatever we send to fancy, whatever you guys want me to do. I don't really mind either or, but I do prefer the first person perspective in MXGP 2021. So now approaching the finish line to set us up for 1 minute and 30 seconds plus the 2 final laps here of the Grand Prix of Leon. Nice weather conditions as well for this track. I'm glad it's not raining too much, because the difficulty on MXGP 2021 when the rain starts coming down is increased by a dramatic level sometimes. The AI can get extremely competitive and sometimes you might fall by the wayside ever so slightly. In last year's game I found it to be quite the opposite, but this year we've certainly got a challenge when the rain starts coming down. So if the rain does start coming down in this one, which is going to be very surprising since the sky looks absolutely clear, so it should be absolutely fine as we make a massive mistake on the brakes. I was trying to get the bike into the down point of the decline of the corner, and as I was pushing forward, the front touched the end of the corner and unfortunately crashing out right there. That's a bit of a concern actually, but it's kind of made this a little bit more interesting now, because we had a comfortable lead ahead of the pack, which has now disappeared. Championship rival Ruben Fernandez ahead of us, and also another rival with Tom Vial. And I'm really struggling with getting this bike over the jumps. It just does not go quick enough to make it into the decline of the corner. So the challenge in itself in this one is to trying to form a decent sort of rhythm and sense of control with the slower motorcycle in a track that really doesn't offer you much of a chance to land the motorcycle into the decline of the jumps. As mentioned in my handcam video and mentioned from the live stream as well from MXGP, it is imperative that when you position the motorcycle after the big leap or a big jump, that you get it into the decline of the next jump, so it makes sense to try and angle it in that particular way. But unfortunately here in Lyon, I can't really get the same feeling going, and we are about to cross the line. This is going to be the final 2 laps, so that on the penultimate lap, Ruben Fernandez is leading the way with 1.281 seconds as we are in pursuit. We now go on the right hand side, very close to the rear of the Spaniard ahead of us as we now go onto the right hand side once again, maybe with a change of direction then up on the inside, a little bit of contact made, but the Kawasaki has finally made his way through. So Ruben Fernandez has been pushed back, his progress has been thwarted as we now move ourselves into the, well, and attempting to jump into the decline of the next corner, but unfortunately again not having enough lift on this Kawasaki. It just doesn't want to make any particular corner we try at, so it's not going too grand so far, but we are back into the lead up against 2 very, very difficult rides. We're now getting a little bit out of shape going onto the right hand side. They're using a bit of right analog stick there as well just to chuck the Kawasaki into the corner. We're going to go for the outside line here without touching the inside or the outside curb, and then going for the left part, nice and tight to the apex, going over some of the bollards there as well, so we get a big leap. And I think I'm going to have to probably jump a little bit slower there, so instead of jumping with full acceleration, just jump with a little bit more reduced acceleration, just so we can get ourselves into the flow of that particular section. But now onto the right hand side, chucking the right boot out and positioning ourselves well as we now go on the left hand side. A nice little jump here going underneath the side, and now back onto the left of it again. We are developing quite a nice lead now. This might be our fastest lap of the race if we can continue at this potential pace. But there we go, a bit of a lift there from really wrenching back on the analog sticks to try and lift this Kawasaki into the jump there. But we now go ahead and going across the line. This may be our fastest lap time, but it's certainly not going to beat the AI's lap times. The AI's lap times are always something incredible, and they are in this one as well with a 1:42.676. Well, onto the right hand side, you can see when the right analog stick is being used, you can see the rider wanting to throw himself off the motorcycle almost. He's getting really into it as we now go on the left hand side, getting into a rhythm now. We've got a bit of a groove going. Not quite the same groove that we have when we're in our MX2 career, winning races in the likes of Majora and in Os, but it's still not a bad performance, if I do say so myself. So a bit of a big jump here, getting a little bit out of shape there, and once again the same issue, not able to make the leap going into the decline of the jump. We actually end up landing it on the outside and then trying to survive on the front wheel of the Kawasaki. That literally would never work, so that is why we crashed there once again. So twice that particular jump has caught me out, so be very careful if you're going to be tackling this challenge after watching this video. But now underneath the city sign and giving it everything we've got now, trying to keep away from Thomas Vial and Ruben Fernandez. But I tell you what, they're actually helping us, and there you go, I did go into that particular jump slower, and that actually benefited us quite nicely. So we'll try and keep on top of it now as there is a brilliant battle going on behind us with Diego Giertz, Tom Vial, and of course Ruben Fernandez. So 3 manufacturers trying to desperately get themselves onto the podium as we go for an alternate line there. But we have pretty much got this one in the bag. We've got a couple more corners to go, and this will be a victory in the very first career mode challenge video. So I'm pretty pleased with that one, to be honest with you. Pretty happy indeed, but I'm very keen to find out who is going to finish on the podium alongside Grant on the Kawasaki, and I'm guessing either Vial or Fernandez will finish on it, but never mind about that. We're crossing the line now, victorious in the very first career challenge video here in Lyon for our very first outing and appearance at this particular circuit. So congratulations, you passed the challenge. Excellent podium finish. So there we are on the top of the page with Diego Giertz and Ruben Fernandez. Looks like Tom Vial was the odd one out. But upon that note, guys, thank you very much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know in the comments section down below, and I will see you in the next video. Like, comment and subscribe, and ciao for now. Oh hi, didn't quite see you there. Good to see you're still here. If this video didn't quite set your appetite, then why not watch some more DrAce content by clicking the video shown on screen now. Furthermore, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so now with the links down in the description. Consider subscribing so you don't miss a single DrAce video.